All right, Coach, introduce yourself when we get started.
All right. James Dickey, head basketball coach, University of Houston.
All right, Coach. You hadn't started practice yet, but what's been going on since the season's been over?
Well, that's a good question. As soon as the season was over, we let our guys off for about a week, and we came back in the spring, and you can work with the guys 2 hours a week, which we did this year. We had a great rule change that we were allowed to work with our guys in the summer. So we had 8 weeks in the summer. We spent 4 weeks on some team concepts, and we spent 4 weeks on individual improvement. And I was really thrilled at that rule change, allowing our guys to work out with the coaches for 2 hours. Continue that in the fall, and have done so leading up to Friday, the 12th, which we're really excited about, where we get the full complement of the 20-hour week and then the 6 days a week, and we get work on a very consistent basis. But we're excited. We've done a lot of work over the spring and summer and the fall, and looking forward to this next month of practice.
Talk about, because you've been around long enough to remember when practice was practice. And you know now it's a different set of issues and a different set of rules, but mandated so much, not so much by the school itself, but by the NC2A.
That's right.
And as far as practice, you know, putting not so much a balance. Well, now it's a balance on practice in school, and before it was just whatever you could get in, you got it in, no matter what it took. Hours, days, or whatever.
Well, I think that's a great question, a great point, and I've talked to several of my colleagues around the country, and really everybody used to think October 15th was such a significant date. That's when you could start practice, but we've actually been practicing because of the new rules, allowing them to do the 8 weeks in the summertime with the coaches. Before, we could have no contact with them except academically. The individual workouts in the fall, and now starting September 15th, you can actually work out with a team. So we've been going about a month, even though it's only been 2 hours a week. So I think the 15th probably doesn't take on as much a significant meaning, which will be the 12th this year, as it has in the past. Although for the coaches it's exciting because you get to have them every day. Even though we have the 20-hour, you get to have them every day, 1 day a week off. So it's still an important time. But it has changed significantly, and there has to be a great balance. Before the 20-hour rule, you certainly want your players to do well academically, but there was very few days off. There's a lot of long practices, and now you're mandated by a maximum of 4 hours per day, no more than 20 hours per week with the 1 day off. So it has changed, but everybody adjusts. You get a balance to that, and then players have to do a good job of prioritizing academics in basketball, and then they've got to put that social life on the shelf for about 5 months.
Speaking of that, beforehand, and I remember these days, when there was no social life, once the season started, once practice started, you was pretty much bound to either one of the two, either class or the floor. And now, which I think is a good thing, that the kids are starting to balance some things. Is it not so much distracting, but does it help with the balance now, or was it better back then?
Well, I think it's always going to be a challenge. It's about priorities. It's about self-discipline. It's about the commitment to your team. It's about a commitment to how good a player do you want to be. And we understand guys are going to have a social life, and I think there's times that they make room for that. But I think the biggest thing is the balance. You've got to understand what is the balance and what are the priorities. If getting a degree is a high priority for you, then class attendance, taking care of your business, academic. We've got great academic counselors, great academic resources. They'll just take advantage of those opportunities. They're going to get a degree, and we want them to walk across the stage and shake Dr. Couture's hand and get that diploma. That's the first thing. The second, if you want to be in the NCAA tournament, you want to have a chance at the conference championship, you've got to be a dedicated student athlete, and you've got to work hard. And with the 20-hour week, you've got to do some work on your own. You've got to get up some extra shots. So I think there's you adjust. Whether you have unlimited time or whether you have the 20-hour, you figure out a way to get it done both academically and athletically. And it's about commitment, priorities, and discipline.
Talk about this freshman group that came in this year that's hopefully will contribute rather than sit.
Well, we're really pleased for a number of reasons. One, they're talented. Two, you got some guys from Houston to stay home, which we thought was significant. We like our 2 junior college point guards, and Brandon Morris and Tion Womack. Valentine, he's a young man that wants to play this 5 position. Not many guys want to play the 5 anymore. He's long, he's athletic. He's just going to get better and better. Daniel obviously comes in with well-deserved accolades. Very blessed player with athletic talent. Really had an outstanding junior and senior year. Played great in the summer events, and we're pleased that those guys are there. And the 3 guys that I hadn't mentioned are the 3 guys that redshirted last year, and Gerard Stiggers, Mikhail McLean, and LaRon Barnes, guys that I thought would really have helped us last year. And then also we have J.J. Richardson, who set out the transfer from Pitt, that gives us another physical player. So we're really looking at having about 8 new guys this year. When you count the red shirts, the junior college players, the freshmen, and then the transfer, and JJ sitting out. So we got 8 guys that didn't play last year here. Then you got the other 4 guys who did contribute. Expecting a lot out of Leon Gibson, big physical player inside. We had Joe, little JJ, Tayshawn, all freshmen who played significant roles last year. So that's a long answer to a question about our freshman class. But I love our freshman class. I'm glad they're here, glad they decided to stay at home. But having mentioned the whole group, we're going to have a lot of competition for playing time, and I think that's going to make for a much better basketball team.
Talk about the schedule. Is it truly setting everything up for Conference USA? The non-conference is part of the schedule.
Well, I think that for us, we've got a balanced schedule. We've got A&M is going to be a marquee game for a lot of reasons. SEC team, Old Southwest Conference foe there at home, and Hawthorne's. We're excited about that one. We've got Texas Southern coming in, who's right there in town with us, basically just across the street, which I know is going to be a big rivalry game. We've got to go on the road to another Old Southwest Conference foe, and TCU, who's down the Big 12. We think this schedule is going to be challenging, but at the same time, we want this schedule to prepare us for Conference USA and then for postseason, and that's going to be our goal. That's what we're going to try to get better at. And the biggest thing for us, Jerry, in preparation for this season can be summed up in one word. Now, there's a lot of things that go under this, but the toughness. We've got to be a much tougher basketball team mentally and physically. We do that, we're going to be better defensively. We're going to take better care of the ball, which we turn the ball over too many times. Got to rebound better. When you take 3 rebounds, then the Oakland, the LSU, the TCU game changes at home if we get 1 rebound. So the rebounding, and that has been our theme and our emphasis since starting last spring, is just to be much tougher.
And TCU also went through a coaching change, just a different style of philosophy, but Trent from way back. Just talk about that change, even with that group that's there that he can't walk into. The coaching style will be different, so the preparedness will be different.
It was a great segue from that last question about toughness, because when you think of Trent, his teams are always tough. He does a great job. We played him at LSU. He's done a great job everywhere he's been. I think Trent's a terrific coach, and certainly that'll be a challenge for us when we go to Fort Worth. But I have a lot of respect for him. He'll play a little bit different maybe than Jimmy did when he was there, but you can bet they're going to be a tough physical basketball team.
One last question or opinion. Preparing the team to go through the Conference USA this year and then moving over to the Big East?
I think that the biggest thing for us is that we know that's out there. We try to utilize that in recruiting. We know the style of play is going to change to a very physical style. The travel is going to be significant. But really our emphasis right now is to put the best basketball team we can on the court and compete as hard as we can for Conference USA. for that title, and that's really going to be our emphasis this year, because very disappointing the way we ended up last year. I thought that we had some very good games where we could play with anybody in the league, and then I thought we were inconsistent in times that we just did not play as well. So that has been very disappointing, and I'm excited about this group, and I'm excited about what they can do. So we're really not looking any further than this season that's right in front of us.
Is there anything else I hadn't asked you about U of H men's basketball this year?
We just got to get tougher and better, and we're looking forward to it.
And practice hadn't started yet, so none of us know what's going on.
We're going to have some good practice. I'm excited about that.
All right, Coach. Reintroduce yourself, and we'll close out.
James Dickey, University of Houston men's basketball.
This is Jerry Lee Willard Jr. with the King Size View College Sports Report.